KL Publications presents Perfectly Imperfect by Ryan C. Sanders. Imagine this. You're sitting at the coffee shop, sipping your overpriced latte, pretending to work on your novel, but in reality, you're scrolling through social media. Your feed is filled with people living their best lives. Perfect selfies, perfect relationships, perfect bodies, and perfectly staged avocado toast. It's like everyone got together and decided to form a secret society called the Perfectionists. And you didn't get the memo. I'd asked to join, but I'm pretty sure I'd be denied based on my wardrobe alone. My socks haven't matched in 5 years. They're kind of like my spirit animals. One blue, one yellow, both confused, but still hanging in there. Now, according to The Gifts of Perfection by Brené Brown, which I'll pretend I didn't skim, this obsession with perfection is the very thing that's keeping us from loving or living our best selves, our most authentic lives. Brené basically said, stop worrying about having it all together, because guess what? None of us do. And I'll have to admit, that made me feel better. If Beyonce can trip in heels, then maybe it's okay that I can't fold a fitted sheet. Spoiler alert, no one can fold a fitted sheet. It's just a myth passed down by Martha Stewart to make us feel inadequate. So here's the deal. We're all perfectly imperfect. And it's high time we embrace it. You know why? Because perfection is boring. It's like a blank canvas that no one wants to touch because they're afraid of messing it up. But imperfection, it's the real masterpiece. The paint splatters, the crooked lines, the weird abstract shapes that your aunt insists looks like emotions. Sure, Aunt Carol. Whatever helps you sleep at night. The rise of the perfectionist. Perfectionism is like that nagging friend who won't stop correcting your grammar. We've all been there. You send a text, they're on their way, and your inner voice says, "Ha, gotcha, it's there." And there you sit there contemplating whether you're just not smart enough for modern society. But here's the thing, perfectionism isn't about being better or smarter or more organized. It's about fear. Fear of being judged, fear of being rejected, fear of Aunt Carol's judgment, her eyebrow when she sees your messy house. Brené says that perfectionism is like a 500-pound shield that we carry around to protect ourselves from shame, judgment, and blame. But the thing is, it's so heavy, we could barely move. And after all that effort, we're still getting judged. I mean, think about it. If you saw someone struggling down the street with a giant shield, you wouldn't think, wow, what a strong, capable person. You'd think, why is this lunatic carrying a shield? Is there a Renaissance fair nearby? Here's another fun fact. Nobody's judging you as much as you think. Remember that time in middle school when you were tripped and spilled your lunch tray in front of the whole cafeteria? Yeah, well, you spent the last 20 years thinking about it, but nobody else remembers. Everyone was too busy worrying about their own awkward phase to care. The braces, the bad haircuts, the Be Cool t-shirts that were typically ironic, none of it matters now. Let it go. Your imperfection is the thing that makes you human. And frankly, it's possibly what makes you fun at parties. Vulnerability, the real superpower. Speaking of fun at parties, let's talk about vulnerability. Brené Brown, and now yours truly, says that vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's a superpower. You know those people who show up to the parties dressed as superheroes? Captain Confidence with their flawless smile and their six-pack abs. Yeah, they've got it all wrong. The real hero walks in, trips on the welcome mat, spills their drink on themselves and laughs about it. That's vulnerability. And that's what makes people want to hang out with you. You see, being vulnerable is about showing up as your real self, flaws, mistakes, and all, and still believing you're enough. But let me tell you, it's easier said than done. We've all been conditioned to avoid vulnerability like it's a plague. And for good reason. Nobody wants to be the kid who got pantsed in gym class. But here's the secret. Vulnerability is what connects us. It's the glue that holds relationships together. It's the thing that says, hey, I'm a mess, you're a mess, let's be a mess together. Now, I'm not saying you should walk into work tomorrow and announce to everyone that you've cried in an episode of Friends. But maybe, just maybe, it's okay to admit that you don't have it all figured out. The truth is, none of us do. And anyone who says they do is either lying or trying to sell you something. Look at you self-help gurus. Worthiness. You've already got it. At the heart of all the imperfection embracing is the idea of worthiness. And I don't mean the kind of worthiness that comes from having a corner office or driving a Tesla. I'm talking about the kind of worthiness that says I deserve to be loved just as I am, with all my mismatched socks and my inability to cook rice without burning it. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to prove it. It's already yours. No returns, no exchanges. And yet, here we are, constantly trying to prove we're enough. We go to the gym to sculpt our bodies. We work 80 hours a week to earn promotions. We buy clothes that's too tight because the sales clerk said we looked fabulous. But Brianna's research shows that, let's be real, my life experience suggests that none of that really matters. Your worth isn't tied to your success, your bank account, or whether or not you ever successfully folded a fitted sheet. So if you take nothing else from this little chat, take this. You're already enough. Even if you got crumbs on your shirt right now, especially if you got crumbs on your shirt right now. Embrace the crumbs. The crumbs are life, buddy. The joy of being a hot mess. Let's just admit it. Life is messy, and that's okay. Perfection is overrated. Do you really want to be the person that never spills their coffee or forgets someone's name? No. You want to be the person who laughs when you accidentally wave at a stranger thinking it's someone that you know. I do that all the time. You want to be the person who isn't afraid to dance at weddings even though they've got the rhythm of a drunk octopus. Because here's the thing. When you embrace your imperfections, you give other people permission to do the same. You create a space where it's okay to be human. And isn't that what we all want? To be able to show up as our real, messy, wonderful selves and still feel like we belong. Brene Brown's message is simple. Let go of fear, the shame, and the endless pursuit of perfection. Lean into the awkward, the imperfect, and the vulnerable. That's where the magic happens. That's where the laughter, the joy, the deep connection live. So the next time you spill your coffee, or forget someone's name, or realize you've been walking around all day with your fly down, just remember you're perfectly imperfect, and that's what makes you you. Now go out there, trip on a welcome mat, and enjoy the ride. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe.